proceed, Marcus. All right. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. We do apologize for the delay. We ran into a slight technical difficulty, and we appreciate your patience with that. With that being said, we would like to welcome you guys. Good afternoon. I do apologize for the delay. ASU Greek Life Podcast. This podcast is designed to have a robust discussion about issues that affect Greek life and that affect issues on HBCU campuses. You guys coming. We hope you guys enjoy the show. We will engage you guys during the third segment of the show. So you should be able to locate the link to the Zoom so you can call in and engage with us in person for the third segment. If you don't know where to find that link at, you can find it on the new MPHC IG page, which is ASU_MPHC 1903. With that being said, I want to introduce myself. My name is Anthony Mormon. I currently serve as the Greek Life Coordinator at Albany State University. I am a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I joined the organization in spring 2005 right here at Albany State University through the Beta Psi chapter. With that being said, I will let the rest of the podcast participants introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is DeMarcus Green. I currently serve as Special Events Programmer at Albany State University, where I was initiated spring 13 Delta Delta chapter of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jarrod Green. I'm currently a junior here at Albany State University. I'm also a criminal justice major here on campus. I'm a spring 20 initiative of the Delta Delta chapter of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, and I currently work in the Office of Student Engagement, where I'm the Greek Life intern.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jeremiah Mullins, a junior human and health performance major at Albany State University. I'm a Fall 19 initiative of the Delta Delta chapter of Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jarrod, a junior nursing major at Albany State University. Fall 19 initiative of the Delta Delta chapter here at Albany State University.
Hello, I am Teresa Martin. I am a junior psychology major, and I'm a Fall 19 initiate of the Gamma Sigma chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jasmine Browner. I'm a business management major, and I'm also a spring 19 initiate of the phenomenal Pi Beta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shelby Ham, and I am a junior mass communication major, minoring in marketing, and I serve as the vice president for the phenomenal Pi Beta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm a spring 19 initiate.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah Jackson Hubbard. I am a graduating senior social work major, and I'm a spring 17 initiate of the Zeta Psi chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated at Albany State University.
Hello, everyone. I am Centoya Polite. I'm a sophomore psychology major, art minor. I'm the vice president of the Also Fly Zeta Psi chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and I am a Fall 19 initiate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew James Rochford. I am a graduating mass communications major, spring 18 initiate of the Zeta Pi chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated.
Awesome, awesome. With that completed, I would like to welcome our special guest for the very first ASU podcast, joining us all the way from South Florida, from FIU, my good brother Jarrod Benjamin. How you doing this afternoon, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be with Albany State yet again. Can't nothing keep us from partying together, I see. So I'm excited to see, to be engaged with the questions. I'm excited to see student engagement, even through a pandemic, shows a commitment to their organizations, a commitment to the work of the council, and a commitment for moving the needle in Albany. So I do appreciate the invitation, and I look forward to an engaging hour with you guys.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, sir. So with that, we are moving to the questions that we have for you, sir. So with the new normal that we're currently in, can you talk to us a little bit about how that has changed your daily routine on a professional level?
So professionally, I'm the director of cyber apprenticeship programs at Florida International University. It's been quite a change. I've been teleworking. Now I think we're on week 6, week 7. So human interaction and socialization is a part of my daily work routine. You don't value human interaction till you lose it. So being home every day, I can tell you I'm an extrovert. I professionally speak. I'm the CEO of a lead firm. So in speaking, trying to own a room with your voice, to ensure that the message is heard. We transitioned 61 of our speaking engagements for spring. 40 of them became virtual programs. And sometimes when you're doing a webinar, you don't have no face, nobody giving you the head nod if they agree. There's no energy transfer. I've been able to partner with your institution, I think 3 times last semester. And in seeing the students, engaging the students, and if nothing, I'm getting a laugh. And I know at least they feeling the joke at minimum. So it's like, that level of engagement has reduced. I've had to change up some things, although I want to be as cognitive of the ability to get COVID-19. I still have to protect my peace. So in self-care, I've been like at least running 2 miles every day, get back in the career where you would normally work an 8-hour span, breaking up my work into nuggets so that I give myself a break to protect my self-peace and self-care. Understanding that burnout is real. I'm in an academic program, seeking my PhD. I'm also, I work for an institution and I partner with institutions as clients. So in understanding that academic burnout can happen and how do I prevent it? You know what I'm saying? So, and Zoom has become a new communications means. I've been setting up like weekly Zooms with friends. We've celebrated, I think, 4 birthdays of my friends via Zoom. Who would have thought? But in the meantime, just trying to be connected to those friendship circles that kind of keep us socially engaged. That's been the closest change. And then I have a concern because everybody doesn't have the same socioeconomic background or socioeconomic privileges. So I'm concerned about some of my students that I teach, that some of them that we have recruited to our institution from rural communities. They've expressed that they appreciate free Wi-Fi as a service, but Wi-Fi doesn't even extend to their rural communities.
Right.
And so he's like, I'm streaming from my phone, but I got 1 bar. So Zoom can't happen. I got it. And I understand that. And I don't think when we made our SOPs for Greek life, for institutional practices, academics, or even syllabi for our curriculums, we didn't think about what if we don't have face-to-face interaction? So, or what if we lose face-to-face interaction and somebody relies on Albany State University for more than just education?
Right.
Potentially, what if they were homeless and housing was also how they lived? What if they were hungry and their meal plan is how they eat? What if they're an introvert that's learning how to gain extrovert qualities in their Greek life organizations or their social circle that's actually pulling that up out of them? Some people they've been most vocal at their neophyte presentation. You ain't never know they had it in them until they took their mask off and said their line name, and you like, whoa, you are social. So now they don't have that circle. They don't have plot Wednesdays, plot Thursdays. They don't have fried chicken on that 1 day a week at the calf that normally be the only day the calf popping. We don't have that. So what's the supplement? And that's how I've changed, man. So I'm hungry for a return, but I understand things happen in life, and I believe this gonna pass as well.
Absolutely. So you're thinking that with the lack of interpersonal interaction because of the shelter-in-place policies that are keeping us separated, that Zoom calls and calls of this nature are essentially going to be the new norm for the foreseeable future?
Yes, I would say, even for me, for my friends, my frat brothers, my younger members that I advise at my university, you wouldn't FaceTime me at 9 o'clock at night, not without notice. Y'all know it was a rule. You got a text before you ask to FaceTime. You don't know how I'm gonna be. I don't know how you gonna be. Now, a Zoom call or a FaceTime has become acceptable as first line of communication versus a text, because we just haven't seen each other in so long. So for me, it's like, okay, yeah, I do believe it's gonna be normal for a while, but I'm also encouraging student organizations and institutions to look at a hybrid approach when the fall comes. If everything go back to normal, we get a hold on this pandemic, we feel like it's safe to return back to our institutions in the fall, you should still look at a 50-50 programming model. Whereas if 100% of your programming was face-to-face, you should intentionally reduce 50% of it to a hybrid format or a format that does virtual programming. So now when this happens, if it happens again, which we hope not, in 2025, for example, our chapters aren't new to this. They're like, oh, we already do have our programming calendar virtually anyway. We know we still gonna get a good showing. We know we still gonna have pool. We know people gonna still wanna be part of the program. People are gonna wanna engage us. I think we should start kind of slowly bringing that into our normal scheduling, even if things go back to normal, because you're only as good as you proactively prepare. And I think every institution, not Albany State, not my institution, not my alma mater, every institution was highly unprepared. You know what I'm saying? And when you're unprepared, the only person that gets affected the most, let me not say the only person, the most affected is the customer or the client, which is our student population that we're serving. You know what I'm saying? You uproot me and I'm grown. It's a change, Even explaining to my 10-year-old daughter that thank you for trying to get perfect attendance, but we taking roll in the house now.
Yeah.
So I used to be a speaker. I used to be your daddy. I used to be a cyber professional. I used to be a hazing prevention expert, but now I'm a lunch lady. I'm a tutor. I'm a 4th grade teacher. I'm all of that. And as you sign on to these additional roles, stress comes with them.
Right.
I know there's some college students out here right now. You a tutor, you a 3rd grade teacher, your little sister and brother. You used to FaceTime and now you helping your mama make it work. And so we have to figure out, now that added responsibility is there, how can we support those students with that stress level? Right. And that's why I think our institution organizations, it's time for us to say, this is what you thought of us, and this is what we're going to show you we can do in the midst of storm. Where we had division that may have been traditions of the chapter on institutions, now we get to go back to what our founders founded our organizations for. I was preparing for the podcast when you invited me, and I started thinking about what was our founders thinking when we didn't have all of these resources and they were founding our organization still. The average organization was in the early 1900s, and I started thinking about, I always try to put myself in the thought process of our founders when I'm thinking how to move the needle forward for our organizations. And if you think about it, when they found our organizations, they didn't that we were not founded because there was nothing else to do. We were not privileged to do many other things. And so we founded it so that we could have a like-minded and a circle of friends to impact communities of people who look like us. So I often say, who pledged our founders? I think I have an answer. Oppression and circumstance, the lack of privilege founded our organizations. So now that we've had a reduced amount of privileges or resources, now we get to stand on the shoulders of some of our most noble members and show them that we're capable. So, if a mask is going to reduce transfer of COVID-19, I'm looking for leaders from Albany State to put on a mask and make a statement. When I go outside, this is how I strap up. You know what I'm saying? If it's going to reduce stress, if we hold conversations with each other, maybe we don't just converse within our organization. We set up theme nights where Alpha Kappa Alpha partners outside of their normal Greek life partnerships. They partner with other student orgs to say, we're just a listening ear today, what you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Potentially Phi Beta Sigma says, hey, it would be great to do a yard show, but I don't have my whole squad. So guess what? We're going to do a virtual yard show. It's going to be 6 faces right here. We're going to go out there in the yard like my good Iota brother doing right now. And we're going to let them be known, hey, we out here and we trying to bring a normal to something that we just didn't expect. And I believe that makes a strong statement for Greek life. The next thing I would also encourage is, it's going to be very hard to convince us to go to the polls while COVID-19 is saturating our communities. So you have to encourage, if you're going to need the absentee vote, don't be bashful. Figure that out right now. What did that look like in Georgia? If you're not going to absentee vote, how do we go to the polls and still maintain social distancing? I believe right now, greater than any other time, political awareness is needed. I'm looking at some of the decisions being made to reopen cities, and I'm like, look who we elected, y'all. And if you didn't vote, you still elected them because you didn't participate. So how do we make a statement to prevent this from in the future? I'm not saying I'm looking for this council to tell me who to vote for, but I'm telling you to educate us on local policies that are affecting Georgia if we don't go to the polls. You know what I'm saying? How does HBCU funding affect it?
Right. And that's big. That's very big because I remember reading an article that indicated that spring 21, fall 22 may look very different from a purely financial standpoint if we can't get back on track and recover from the COVID-19.
Man, I tell you, we worry about institutions. I think the institutions that may survive, I'm worried about our organizations, our institutions, to be quite honest, y'all. What does it look like if we don't do intake for the next 2 semesters? What do our chapters look like who had a majority of senior intake or junior intake if we go a year without intake? I don't know many chapters that's gonna say if the campus go fully virtual that we can do a line. That's a liability I know our org ain't ready for. So I mean, what does that look like? What does the information look like if they can't walk in a room?
Right.
So you got to kind of think of those things. And guess what? Like our national organizations, intake is a great part of our revenue. If we not national conventions, I'm so sorry, Sarah's Centennial and Boulay. I saw the announcement yesterday. My heart went out to you because I remember how lit Centennial was for us. But guess what? I'm thinking, I feel so bad for our Sarahs, but Sigma Gamma Rho in 2 years, that's y'all. We got to get a hold on this now, or you have to live through that same cancellation. And so I'm thinking now, like, if we don't have revenue to sustain our organizations through intake, will we be able to sustain, period?
Gotcha.
So what do you see as a formal solution that can be possible if we can't get back to school?
I say, well, first thing is we got to champion this virtual environment and also respect I got to bring this up because it's my field, the cyber vulnerabilities. The more we virtually program, the more the cyber threat grows. Got to be real on that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to communicate to community and campuses that we gonna remain and still survive. That means your collegiate chapter members, there's a time where we don't even care if they financial. I'm gonna say it out loud. Even when I was undergrad, bruh, be sure you stepping in this show, you're in this stroll off, you're in this yard, so you ain't pay your dues, just put this shirt on, we'll be okay. The school don't know you ain't paid, we know. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to have a little more intentional conversation and say, hey, bro, we gotta pay because we ain't bringing no line in. We're gonna need these funds. We also gonna have to say, be innovative. The 2 birthday parties I've been on in Zoom, I felt so bad for them, but then after I got done with it, I was like, it was dope that 88 people showed up on Zoom because she wouldn't have got 88 people to come to her party. So I was like, that really spoke a volume. So also controlling the narrative. Quan, I gotta be real, bro. If you controlling the narrative, it's gonna be a new look for Run the Yard. A step show, a stroll off, most programs in a year, that's not gonna be how we define running the yard. I think existing through the pandemic is gonna be a definition of running the yard. I think we're gonna be less concerned with chapters that run the yard and does our existence run the yard? You know what I'm saying? We're gonna start measuring run the yard like our founders did. It ain't a run the yard because you win, it's a run the yard because how many degrees can you put on the wall? It's gonna be a run the yard, how many years were you financial? It's gonna be a run the yard, my whole chapter understands how to log into Zoom on time. So, running the yard is gonna really change the definition. And I challenge each of you in your respective org to go back to your chapter and say, what does run the yard look like for us if this don't go back to normal? And preventive measures. Y'all, they canceled Boulay, they canceled Centennial. I'm not wishing on nobody, but we ain't heard no Greek picnics get canceled yet. So are we gonna subject ourselves to those kind of vulnerabilities and threats for the pandemic because we ain't had no turn up during the semester? We're gonna go turn up in the summer and get sick and bring it back to our fall semester when we're trying to prevent numbers from increasing? Because while we hungry to get back to school, hotels hungry for conferences to come back and picnics to come back. So are we gonna forget how safe we supposed to be and go out there and stroll with somebody who probably got COVID-19? So yeah, just I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer if we're gonna make it back and everything will be 100% normal. But what I can say, we just have to make an early decision because proactive leadership is the best kind. Reactive leadership, always a subpar. So proactively right now, what a decision are we gonna make to say, this is how Run the Yard gonna look for us?
Very good point about how running the yard will change. I didn't think about that myself. So that's interesting that you brought that up. And also, I hadn't heard the cancer at all.
No, they not. Yeah, and awareness. Don't give an opinion, because regardless if I write something on my social media, I already know they're not looking at it as Jarrod has an opinion. It's either lead firm, Phi Beta Sigma, or somebody from FIU said this. Same thing with your orgs. If you say it, Shelby, it's going to be somebody from Zeta Phi Beta said this. So report what the CDC say, with the World Health Organization. Report tangible, improving, and quantified real information. Be careful what you hit share on. Be careful even what you click on. It's clickbait out there, you know. So if it's not, you know, law or rule, people relying on us to give best information. Because regardless if you know it, them sophomores and freshmen who ain't eligible yet, they still look at our organization and we are their role model, even when we ain't trying to be. You cannot use this time, even in a virtual capacity, to not be a good role model for freshmen and sophomores. Gotcha. So if we, you know, how do you prepare this summer for a dope fall? Maybe y'all gonna have to do weekly meetings when normally when I was undergrad, we ain't meeting in the summer. We was getting a job or eating that free food at my mama's house. Ain't nobody coming to no chapter. Like I went to the picnics, just like, you know, everybody else. So now what does summer look like? We're gonna have to probably meet weekly. You know, we're gonna have to have conversations, more than group meet, more than WhatsApp. And remember this too, you a Greek Life member on Albany State University. So Albany also needs student population. So when you go home, we talk less about the pandemic and more about our great student experience, because everybody's a recruiter. Like I tell every institution, every Greek Life member, every faculty, every administrator, you all are ambassadors for Albany State to continue to flourish. So what story are you gonna tell? Hey, even when the pandemic hit, we launched our first podcast. We don't run the yard, our council run the whole campus. Yeah, we stepped up and did this. You know, own the successes and control the narrative. Because there's enough bad news gone. Y'all got to be the good news story.
I completely agree. with you. So we appreciate you for that insight, Jarrod. So what we're going to do now is we're going to switch to our topic for this podcast, which we kind of touched on already. And that topic is the COVID-19 pandemic and the effect it's having on the mental health of students. So, so I'll throw this question out there to all the podcast participants here, not just my good brother Jarrod here. In light of the new normal, what are you guys' thoughts on the necessity and the utility of having to wear the mask out in public? Do you guys think that's a bit too much? Do y'all think that is necessary? What are your thoughts on that?
I think honestly, I want to know what masks really work. I know that's really just it's so many masks out here. They like, when in doubt, just tie a piece of fabric on your face. I'd be like, and what that's stopping? I just want to know. And now I've seen it now. I'm a shout out. She's not from y'all yard. Please don't beat me up. Miss Claflin that just came out, Faith. She had a dope mask with her pearls on it, with her graduation picture. I was like, it's popping. But I also want to know, are we going to transition this from protective to designer to fashionable? And, you know, I'm looking at people when I go to Publix, they got the mask under their face. They ain't even wearing it. They just got it near their mouth. So it's like, I just don't know. Like, and guess what? These masks are disposable. I think I got one over here on my desk. These masks disposable. We rocking the same one for a month. I don't know if it's really helping. You know, I see people like literally, this is how it look in Florida. I don't know how it look in Albany, but that's how they rocking it. I'm like, brother, you ain't really saving no life. And he might give you a little bit of, hey, what's up? You know, so we got to figure out which mask is the correct mask, where are the shortages for masks, and do we have the ability to order them for our student organizations? So when we come back in the fall, if a mask is required for events, how do we do that? Are we giving the mask out when they walk in the door? What are we doing? Are we booking spaces that are just a perfect fit? Or are we booking spaces so that we can prepare for social distancing during our events?
Right.
You may have to book for like 400, even though 200 coming, so you could space out the seating. I ain't never think about that, especially when it's already be short on meeting spaces and event spaces as it is. So kind of think about that. But yeah, the mask is new to me. I've been staying inside because I be like kind of claustrophobic, don't even know how to breathe through the thing sometimes. But I can tell you it's gonna take some getting used to. And if it means that's what it's gonna take to make us live, I'm ready to live.
Gotcha.
You know,
Let me toss.
Also,
let me toss all over the map real quick. Matt, do you have any thoughts on the map?
Okay. I will say that personally, because we're living in a time where everyone is essentially aware of this virus going around, but there's reports of people having said that they had gotten it back in as early as November and December. And so when it comes to the mobility of this virus, the masks they act as a protective measure to protect yourself, but let's be real. There are other ways for this virus to get in you, and it's not just your mouth. It's your ears, it's your eyes. You touch everything, you step everywhere. It can be on your leg and you have no idea. Next thing you know, you're touching your leg, your pants, wiping your pants off with your hands, doing all types of different things. And so, the mask, let's be real. I'm glad that people are doing it. But if we want to be very realistic, we have to look at the whole. So we got to look at every little thing we do. Everybody saw that live stream of the baby. He's in his car eating fries with the same gloves that he grabbed them from the person who handed it over. So it's like no one's thinking about this in the entirety of it all. Everyone's kind of looking at, well, I just need a mask, but we got to look at every little thing we do. And, to tie into, the spacing, booking and having 400 seats when, realistically only 200 are going to show, taking all these little measures into account to act safely and to protect everyone. But, I have mixed feelings, mostly because I like playing devil's advocate. So it's good to look at the whole, but we have to change all of our habits instead of just thinking that a simple mask is going to protect us, because it's not going to keep it.
Gotcha. Quan, you had something you wanted to interject?
Yeah, so I recently just looked it up on Healthline about the mask. So we got homemade clothing face masks, surgical masks, N95 respirator. So the CDC is now recommending the homemade cloth face mask, but they also provide a false sense of security. For the surgical mask that he showed, those protect from the wear of sprays, splashes, and large particle droplets. They also prevent the spread of potential infectious respiratory secretions from the wearer to others. The N95 is the best one, from the website at least. They filter out 95% of small particles. So I don't know if that's big particles also, but yeah. So N95 might be the best one, but you usually see those on like construction workers and stuff like that. Those are the big ones.
And you know what? To add to that is, when you're talking about the different layers of protection, people have to be aware of those different things. But I think also what ties into us needing to stay home is that those N95 masks, they need to get to the people who genuinely need it. So, you got nurses and you've got doctors and you got essential workers who are coming into consistent contact with people. They're the ones that genuinely need those masks. The elderly, people with respiratory problems, people with health immunity problems, they're the ones that genuinely need these masks. And so when regular people with healthier immune systems are buying it, we're putting those who genuinely need it at risk. So I definitely agree that, the other masks are just giving us a false sense of, protection, but it's kind of like, it's better than nothing. You don't want to go into a battle with a stick. You want a sword, and what's better than a sword is a gun. And, what's better than a gun is a missile. So, yeah.
Jazz, you had something you wanted to add in there?
You're on mute, Jazz.
Okay, so I was just going to emphasize the importance of masks, but also I wanted to talk more on the mental health aspect of the virus. I was researching and it says that nearly 95% of adults in the United States reported that their mental health worsened during the virus due to things such as isolation, and for some adults just being in an environment where they're with their kids all day. So I wanted to speak more on the mental health aspect. I know for me personally, I've kind of been going on a roller coaster. And for those people who are watching, for me, ways that I've been dealing with that is just staying focused and trying to stay positive in doing my work. And that's also an impact that we have to realize is a part of the new normal that the virus is creating, because when we go back outside into the general public, whenever that is, with our mask on, emotionally we won't feel the same. Like some of us will have more anxiety being out in public than others, and just dealing with the idea that, you know, we're shifting back into being out in public every day. So the mental health aspect is something that's serious for a lot of you all, especially not being able to graduate for those seniors. You know, our semesters ending abruptly. So that's something that I also wanted to emphasize in this discussion, was the mental health impact, and the information that's available out there regarding this is very alarming, and we all should look more into it and try to incorporate healthy tactics in our day-to-day to make sure that we stay positive and that we stay energized.
Good deal. Let me ask another question, and I'll throw this one out here to you, Teresa. How did you feel when you got the news that you could not come back to campus spring break?
When I got the news, I was a little upset knowing that I was running for the position of Miss Albany State University. So during that time, my plan was, okay, we come back, we campaign. Kind of leaving home is a way that I get away. That's why I decided I want to stay on campus, to leave home, to be able to have my own set of mind, my own peace, and be able to guide myself on my own. So leaving school was kind of like a little disturbing for me, but I tried to find the best out of it, being home and doing everything online, because I'm now in my major. I'm a psychology major. So a lot of my classes are not easy. And so like they put in more work, and, you know, trying to handle all of it on my own and trying to have the motivation, because all I'm doing is just sitting at home and not going nowhere. So I have to make the best out of it, because I got to remember that it's my junior year. I got to pass all my classes, be motivated, make it to my senior, and doing all that from home is kind of.
Gotcha. I feel you. I feel you. Mr. Jarrod Green, Mr. Greek Life intern. How did you feel when you got the news?
When I got the news that I was going to be home until August, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of excited because I got back to school, but not just being home every day, being in my thoughts. I just when I was busy, I had a lot more to do. Like I wasn't in my thoughts as much as I was, and now I am. And also being a new initiate as a neo, I'm not really getting that experience that everybody else got. I'm at home, watching videos, showing videos, and all that good stuff. Like I wish I was out there doing that. So I feel like that got cut short due to this pandemic. But I know when we go back in the fall that it's going to be worth the while.
Anybody?
You can wait, not be tired about waiting, right?
Exactly.
Shelby, how did you feel?
For me, like in the beginning, I actually was glad because I wasn't expecting to be out this long, of course, but I had an internship over spring break, so I really didn't get a break. And at school, it's always something to do, somewhere to be at. So in this time, like it was difficult at first, but it taught me to just be still. Like maybe God is telling me to be still and just, relax and get into the focus on my goals and what I have coming up next, because I wasn't focusing on the future. It was just like in the now. So I feel like in this time, I could tell anybody, like I've seen things on Twitter where people say, oh, if you don't have a if you don't have like your things together, or you don't have, you know, this and this going on, by the time you get out of quarantine, then you wasn't using your time wisely. But that's not true for everybody. That's not everybody's story. Maybe God is telling you to be still. Maybe God is telling you to, you know, face your demons. So for me, that's what I had to realize, instead of being so, you know, like frantic to get back, because school is like, you have your own space, your own person. And then also with being a mass comm major, it's very difficult, because I had plenty, like 2 videos to turn in, and they all was like 15 minutes long. And it's like, now, you know, we have equipment provided for us as far as cameras and things like that, tripods, everything you need to get the assignment done. Is like, now my teacher was just like, well, do it on your phone, you gotta figure it out. So it's kind of difficult, but it's getting better. I'm figuring it out. So yeah.
All right. So when we got the news that we couldn't come back, it was a shock to everybody, students and administrators alike. But we know that on both sides, it's taking a toll on the mental health of students. So Jeremiah, I throw this one out to you. How has this pandemic affected your mental health?
Well, for me, my mental health, I would say I'm not saying stronger, but I'm like more headstrong than some other people that I know of. So like Shelby said, it like when I didn't really have a spring break, because I, as well as was preparing for a position on campus for Mr. ASU. So when I thought about it, I was like, hell, okay, I'm not coming back. But then when I was like, okay, I finna go to, I was almost at a break. So I was just like, maybe I do need to come home and spend time with my family. Maybe they can push me through, you know, this little breakthrough that I was trying to get. So when I came home, I was like, you know, I was relieved. I made small projects for myself, like, so I would stay busy, stay out of my headspace so much. So I was like, okay, maybe if I do this and connect with some family members that I haven't been with on that level throughout my own academic year at the university, maybe that would have helped me. But I know as a resident assistant on campus, I know some students were like, they were not ready to go home. So I know their parents was forcing them to come to school and get a degree, something they really didn't want to do, or they know they had a negative space back home that was keeping them from being who they actually, you know, desired to be. Like they wanted to pursue music or photography or something, and they really didn't want to go to school for that. They just, you know, that was something extra for them to do. So I know like now they're forced to get jobs and help the parents pay bills. But for me, I mean, look, I'm here helping my mom cook almost every night. That's something that I haven't done in forever. Like I don't know how to cook, so that's kind of giving me the opportunity to learn how to cook as well. But the Jarrod said, he said that you maybe like a middle school, elementary school teacher. I've been helping my little cousins, and you know, elementary is kind of a little different from college. So it's like, I forgot that a little bit. So I can step back on that a little bit. So I mean, my mental health has been a little busy, but I mean, I've been trying to stay out of my head much as possible and just reaching out to people, you know, checking up on them and being a listening ear at least for them.
Gotcha. Because I was gonna say I didn't think you could cook. I'm glad you clarified
No,
it.
can't cook.
Jarrod, you have any thoughts on that topic?
About mental health? For me personally, I've just been in my head too much, honestly. When I first got home, I was good. I kept busy. I went out a little bit because, you know, the restrictions weren't like they are now. But ever since the restrictions have been in the house for the past 4 weeks, it's honestly been, I would say, kind of rough. So I've just been trying to get out there, trying to talk honestly talk my feelings out, just try to, you know, keep my mind clear, try to keep my mind busy, try to do some schoolwork, things of that nature. But I mean, it's going to get better here soon. So I'm just going to keep strong and just try to keep my mind busy. That's all I can say. Just keep your mind busy, keep the faith. And if you ever feel low, just, you know, if you have a higher God, just pray to him. I feel like everything will be good after that.
Gotcha. So just to reach out to our Ramley members and some of our viewers, we're gonna hit home further on the mental health topic in just a little bit. So if you want to zoom in, find the link on the NPHC IG page so you can join us in this conversation in just a few minutes. But I did want to bring you, toss the ball into your court, Toya. The question for you: what are your thoughts? How would you feel rather if you would not be able to return to ASU campus until the spring semester of 2021? How would you feel?
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to do it because right now my mental stage, me being home, I can't do it. Going to school is where my home is because it's something that I feel comfortable with. I feel like I can do what I have to do. But when I'm back home, it's a negative environment and I cannot deal with that. So the more negativity that's brought on me, it brings me down more. And I don't have those uplifting people that I have at school. Like everybody that's on this call probably have heard me say something because I'm not the type of person to open up. I don't open up about anything. And I know that's a bad thing on my part, but I should. But when it comes to me trying to open up to some people, my trust get in the way. And it causes me to be able to back down. And I feel like somebody's gonna come to me or say something to me or throw it back in my face. But me not being able to return back to school in the spring, I won't be able to do it because I see that yes, this whole pandemic is going on. I only see my goals that I want to branch out to. Because one, I don't have my license and I don't have my car, but that's my goal that I have set forth, and I'm gonna make sure it happens at the end of May. My job has been canceled. I can't go to Jasper, Georgia, and counsel little kids like I'm supposed to. So that's another thing that's on my list. I'm gonna end up having a job down here, but if I have to be at home in the spring, I'm gonna make sure it's my ability to move, find an apartment, find another place to stay, because I have to be in an environment that suits me a whole lot better. And being at school has always been my happy place. Growing up in elementary, I always wanted to be in school. So me not being there and experiencing the whole Ramley side, experience ASU, all the qualities, all the things that ASU have given to me, it just makes me just feel down. And I really don't want to be at school, be home for that much longer.
Gotcha. Kiana, I'm gonna toss the ball over to you next. I know you graduating here soon. Kudos on graduation. But my question for you, what ways have you found to occupy your time and kind of keep sane during this new normal? Have you found any techniques, maybe like journaling or a new hobby or something that's kind of occupied your time since the transition?
Okay. Well, for me, for one, I've been on this journey for like the past year and a half, basically trying to get a closer relationship with God. I'm getting a little religious, been trying to get a close relationship with God. So journaling, trying to learn the Bible. I look at different podcasts and sermons from Pastor Todd with Transformation Church and kind of depict those podcasts. So that's what I do in my free time. I try to be more spiritual, more religious with God, especially during this time, because it's really just a tragedy. You know, it's a lot of people getting sick. It's a lot of people, dying, even though it's a lot of people recovering, but it's also a lot of people dying. And, I think just me I'm an overthinker. So trying not to be in my own head too much about everything. Like I feel like at first, when the pandemic first, started and it was like getting serious, I feel like I couldn't walk outside without feeling like I was gonna catch it. I was so paranoid to walk outside, but just trying to be more calm, be more in tune with myself. That's something I've definitely been doing. So that's one. Meditating throughout the day, meditating, praying throughout the day, just taking an hour to myself to just kind of be with myself and just, do that. Exercising. I'll go walking around my neighborhood. Nothing too serious, but I'll go walk around my neighborhood, do a little walk run type thing. So that's some things I've been doing in my free time.
Good deal. So my last topic I'll throw out before we start inviting some of our Ramley guests. We have a couple in the waiting room I see now. DeMarcus, I'll throw this one over to you, man. What are your thoughts on the governor opening up the state of Georgia? Maybe what a lot of people believe is way too soon.
Personally, I think it's a little premature for Governor Kemp to be reopening the state when we are one of the biggest states with the most cases. For instance, Albany is small, but we are fourth in the nation with cases. Atlanta, we all have a lot of cases, but if that's what he decides to do, I think what he's doing is he really just playing the field. He wants to open it back up to let people go outside and see what's gonna happen. So like, it's like me telling you, hey, can you go outside, see what the weather like, so I can get properly dressed to see how I need to come back out. That's what I feel like is going on. I don't think it's smart. Trump doesn't think smart, even though I don't agree. with some of the things that Trump does, but I don't think it shouldn't happen. It's too soon.
So DeMarcus, you saying it's like a test run for certain people?
I feel like it's a test run.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Also with that, like the main places that's supposed to be open is like the nail salon today, especially is the nail salon, the hair salon, and the barbershop. So since those are like the main essentials that the government see that a whole lot of people will go out and go get, I want to know now, not even just for anybody that's online with me, but everybody who is listening and tuning in, how many of y'all done called up your barber? How many of y'all done called hairstylists, nail techs, since they gonna open or not?
I texted him a week ago.
I haven't called anybody, but I feel like he knows that people wants those necessities first. Like he knows people are out needing haircuts, knows people are complaining about not having their nails done, knows women are complaining about, oh, my hair looks this way. So I'm gonna open it up and let you see what happens.
But this is the thing that I see. All of us came into this world natural as ever. Now, when it comes to the hair females, embrace your natural beauty. Go ahead and do that. Embrace your natural beauty. If you have not dealt with your hair, your real hair in a long time, this is the time to do it. So embrace it. Also, when it comes to hair, there's a whole lot of YouTube videos that's out there that you can learn how to do your own nails. Trust me, I can send you the link from Amazon to get all the products if you need it. But embrace your beauty, because who gonna see it first? You, before anyone else. You are who you are. You came to this world natural, and you're gonna leave this world natural. But when it comes to you,
like this is the perfect time to grow your edges back. The perfect time to let your hair grow, because ain't nobody seeing you. So this is the perfect time, right? Or to use the whole hair, like this is the best time to do that, honestly.
Listen,
it gets hard for the guys.
It's the perfect time for y'all to learn how to cut your own hair.
That is true. That is true.
We'll
save a lot of money.
This is in fact the time that, because what most people don't know is my brother Josh is a barber, and so I started picking up little things from him when it came to cutting hair, and so I used to cut my own hair for years, but now that I grow my hair in devotion to Jah, I'm learning other ways to take care of my hair. My thing is this: in a time where all you have is time to yourself, where you can't go out and do what you want, where you can't go out and essentially live the life that you want to live, this is a time to sharpen the skills that you have and to find if you have others. When I went off to college, I didn't think I was going to become a photographer. I actually didn't even know I had an interest in photography to begin with. And now in this time of being stuck home, people who follow me on my social media, they see me consistently putting out self-portraits, consistently, I'm delving into videography, trying to find out other things about myself. And so if you're finding that you're stuck with having to rely on somebody to cut your hair, then perhaps you need to find a way to be the person to supply yourself. We live in a world of, especially us Americans, where we rely on people and we rely on others to give us exactly what we need. So, when trade in America collapses, something's wrong. So we need to learn to be self-sufficient. We need to become, especially to those of us, people of color, we have a very strong purchasing power in the United States. We spend a lot of money on a lot of things. There's a reason why the hair salons and the nail shops and all of them are opening up, because who's doing a lot of that spending? Us. And so when we begin to look at ourselves and say what we are capable of doing, we can pour back into ourselves. So that's all I'm.
All right. So before we
I got a question though.
I guess because I'm sorry, Jerry, you were saying something?
Yeah, what's the point of going to get your nails done, your hair done, if you're going to be in the house anyway?
Exactly.
You love yourself.
Go nowhere.
I need a pedicure, my guy.
I can't go out.
I'm saying I'm not about to waste no money just to sit in the house with a fresh cut. That's not happening.
Well, I was thinking, we don't
got a clean shave.
Like nothing's even open yet, so but those places.
What, the bowling alley? I don't need a haircut to go to the bowling alley.
Can't go to the club. Can't go.
Everything else opened up on Monday, so you gotta look at that.
Mr. Jarrod wanted to say something.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking, we were just talking about mental space and mental peace. I gotta be honest, how I look also plays a role into my mental space. Right. I'm not getting a haircut for who outside. Sometimes I'm getting a haircut and who looking in the mirror at me, and it's me. So it's also a part of self-care for me. I'm gonna be just to keep it 100. I'm in my 30s, y'all. I ain't get a pedicure until I was 25 for the first time. When I got my first one, I was like, boy, this is something I've been missing out on.
Exactly.
I love to go there with a little book in my phone, read a little book. It's a little routine for my weekly self-care. And to be honest, for me, it ain't about who looking at me. It's about how I feel about myself. And it does something for me. You know I can go in the closet, I might got 16 blue suits. But to get a new blue suit is how I want to spend my money and feel good about myself dressed up in a blue suit. So I can't really say it's for outdoors more than it's for me in protecting my mental space. So you know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't need to dress up. Once a week, I put on a polo shirt and some slacks, and I'm still in my office in my house because I want to look like something to myself. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't all the way agree with don't take care of yourself because ain't nobody seeing you. No, if I knew how to cut hair, them T-liners would be in my head fixing this line right now.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't, it ain't my skill. So I got to tell you that a lot of it's connected to how your mental space operates. And I don't want to be insensitive in telling folks how they should view their own mental space.
I was always told by my
football
coach.
What I to chime to that is, I think, and I agree with you that, you know, everybody's mental space operates in its own specific way. However, in a time where the ways that you used to conduct your self-care are now hindered, you have to find other ways to do it. You know, in my teenage years, I used to meditate. I could sit in one position for an hour straight. I can't do that now. You know, my back hurts, or, you know, I start thinking about other things. I'm like, you know, this isn't really the self-care that works for me anymore. So I go outside. And, you know, before a year ago, sitting outside did nothing for me. Now sitting outside does everything for me. So, you know, I think it's not relying on this exact same form of self-care when you know that there's going to be things that are going to hinder that self-care. You got to find another way to take care of yourself. And so this is the time to find those things out. If you're spending time in isolation and doing nothing to cater towards your entire well-being, if you have to tie your worth, and not to say that people will tie their entire existence and how they look, but you have to find other ways to feel good about yourself, other ways to add to yourself. Because if your look is the thing you rely on, and then in the face of a pandemic, you can't take care of how you look, it's going to do a number on you. And, you know, I've been there before. I used to switch out of outfits inside of one day 3 times. You know, freshman year, those who knew me, they knew I had on 3-4 different outfits in the same day, and it made no sense. That was my form of self-care. It made no sense, but that was my kind. And, you know, in this time, it's better for us to question deeper, to see ourselves in a deeper way.
All right. It's kind of hard though, because I'm used to getting a haircut every week, a pedicure every 2 weeks. That's something I'm just routine to. And I was always told, if you look good, you feel good, you're gonna perform good. So that's just something I always live by. So
all right. So great conversation. Don't mean to cut it off, but we got a couple people in the waiting room that's looking to join in. So we're gonna transition here. We're gonna bring in the first student in the waiting room right now to join us. Away, Harry should be coming in here soon. Can you hear us, Mr. Perry?
It's connecting his audio.
Yeah, I see. Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry.
His audio still connecting.
All right, so I'm gonna put him back in the waiting room. We're gonna bring in the next person in, which is Mr. Ben. Are you there, Mr. Ben?
Video is moving, but audio is still waiting.
All right, you there, Mr. Ben? Can you hear? Oh, wait, it's connecting audio. Give it a second. Mr. Ben.
I think he's trying to connect his audio.
Lord have mercy.
No, we can't hear you.
All right, we're gonna bring in the next person, Miss Ebony.
There it is. I think there it is.
Okay.
Right. You there, Mr. Ben?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Hey.
Greetings and salutations to all.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Well, our topic today is the COVID-19 pandemic and its effect on students' mental health. You kind of heard our conversations. Did you have anything you wanted to contribute?
Well, I'm not a student, but as a staff member, my mental health is also extremely affected by this. Like, I am used to being needed all the time for something. And now it's like, yeah, we got a lot of work for you to do in the building, a lot of stuff for you to take care of, but we don't really need you. But we need you here. But we need you, but we don't need you. And it's kind of, I kind of feel a little bit useless right now. I could get ready get the buildings ready so that the students can come back in the fall. But other than that, it's like my normal interactions and helping and engaging with the students is like non-existent. And that actually makes me feel good helping people. So not being able to help people is like, what am I here for?
So in what ways have you found to kind of manage the feelings in our current?
Well, I haven't really found a way that I can really engage with students, but helping the students schedule the times to come collect their belongings. And like Matt said earlier, picking up hobbies that I had let go or hadn't really put a lot of time or effort into that really could be something that I could do side gig or full time if I chose to, like photography. Like I don't know if anybody knows this, but Nikon's been offering free photography classes online all month.
Really?
Nikon website. You can get free photography classes for the rest of the month. Well, they've been doing it the whole month, but I just been using this one YouTube channel.
Well, thanks for the hookup.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, I helped. Yes.
Got like 3 days left, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
Hey.
All right, Mr. Ben, we appreciate your input. I'm gonna slide you back into the waiting area. We're gonna bring in a student, but towards the end, we're gonna bring everybody in. So if you want to hang out, we'll bring you back in. All right. All right. Next is Mrs. Ebony, Miss Gracia. Miss Ebony Gracia, how are you? We appreciate your input. I'm gonna slide you back into the waiting area. We're gonna bring in a student, but towards the end, we're gonna bring everybody in. So if you want to hang out, we'll bring you back in. All right. All right. Are we? Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Watching the live at the same time while she on is
Yeah, I think
yeah.
Can you hear us?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I am Ebony Gracia. I am a senior business management major with a concentration in healthcare. And I would say for myself, when this first started, I was concerned about our students who come from broken homes, and not just the college students here at ASU and other universities, but I would say students everywhere from K through 12 all the way to Head Start. And it really affected me, I would say, because I'm one of those people who help others and counsel others when it comes to mental health. I work with special need children. And so basically thinking, I have many children that I work with daily. And right before this happened, one of my kids came to me and said, Miss Ebony, I feel some type of way because I'm a foster kid and I go to broken homes all the times. And I just don't know how I feel being in a place where I know people don't really love me. They just get money from me. And that was one of the things that broke me the most. So I think during this time, I really have been in a dark space because I'm worried about others. I don't know how to pronounce your first name, but last name is Palat. I heard you earlier say how being at home is not a place for you to be. And that touched my heart because as a senior here at Albany State, I don't necessarily like Albany either, but when I brought my apartment down here, that was my home away from home. And I had to get away from home because home stresses me out.
It's so much that's on my plate at home that I'm not even able to deal with it. But as much as I counsel young kids, I too am an introvert. I'm not a people person. Those who know me, and if you don't know me, it's kind of like, oh, she just has an attitude. But it's not so much that I have an attitude or anything like that. It's just when so much is balled up, you don't know how to deal with it. So I would say for myself, dealing with this whole pandemic has been a lot for me. And I would just say that I've been encouraging people and encouraging myself, like everyone has said on this podcast today, to just really find things that make you happy. Even in terms of job searching, like as a first generation college student, all my family members are like, oh, well, what are you doing now? Like, what company are you going to work for? And I had to make a decision for myself, just what the top part of this week to say. Right now, I'm not going to focus on trying to hurry up and get a job, trying to hurry up and go to grad school. I'm taking this time to celebrate me. So if that means that in the next 6 months to a year, I'm developing a business, I'm traveling, whatever it is that God really has for me to do, that's what I'm taking this time to do, so that I won't do a job that I know my heart is not there for. So I just feel like everybody should continue to really examine who you are. Examine who you are away from your friends. Examine who you are away from your line sisters, your line brothers, or people who you connect with on campus, because sometimes people become this different person around these people so that they can be accepted, because they don't know how to be accepted around people, and that's not their true self. So I'm just encouraging everyone to really find out who you are and what's your purpose here in earth, so that you can grow from this downtime.
That was really good.
Hi.
Thank you for.
Do you mind showing your face?
Do you
I just
mind
want to
showing
put a
your
face
face?
to a
Oh,
story.
I don't. I'm actually working down, but hello, everyone.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Ebony.
Yes.
Hey, Ebony.
It's good to see you all. Hello, Soror Teresa.
Hey.
All right. Hey, we certainly appreciate you coming in and giving us that feedback. That's definitely needed. I'm sure that will take somebody. So thank you very much for that.
No
Also,
problem. Thank
for
you.
me, I also want to get in contact with you as well, Miss, and talk more, because I do counsel kids too, and I can't see them as well. So I would like to get in contact with you a whole lot more and work together on that.
Get with me too.
Most definitely.
I've been case management from home with my internship at DFAC, so that's been really, like, your story was really good, really good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Most definitely. I'll reach out to both of you guys via GroupMe.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate
You guys have a wonderful day.
You do the
You
same.
too.
You too.
So
Erica.
next up is Ms. Erica.
Erica.
Hear us?
Oh, connect.
I didn't connect them.
Oh, Zoom text.
Can you hear us?
Let us know when you can hear us.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Hey.
Can y'all hear me good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all sure?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So what's the question again? I was saying.
So our topic today is the COVID-19 pandemic and the effect it's having on the mental health of students. So that's our topic today. Did you have any input on that particular topic?
About mental health of our students during the pandemic?
Yes, ma'am.
Or just you in general.
Yeah, you were echoing, so I couldn't quite hear you.
I apologize. How are you?
Okay, so I feel like the mental health of our students, I feel like staying at home is draining. One, because you're being at home and you have to do your classwork. So you literally have to force yourself to stay up and do your work. Like me, I know the type of person, usually if we can go outside, I can go to Starbucks, I can go to a library, I can do my work. But staying at home is like a struggle, because it's like the couch right there, the bed is right there. And it's like you literally have to force yourself to do your work. And I feel like our professors really don't understand, and they're just piling work. And I feel like at the end of the day, the job is going to get done. but it's still at the end of the day, you have no breaks. So it's like usually on campus, you can go to class in the morning, you can get a break, you can go to the office, you can go to the caf, and then you can go back to class later. But it's like now you literally have to be in class all day. And I feel like it's goods and bads about this. I feel like with our parents actually get to see what we really have to do in school, because I feel like a lot of parents don't know how much hard work we have to put in being in school. So I know, like me being a forensic science major, my mom actually get to see like I actually have to put in all this work days when I don't talk to you or when I can't call you back. And it's a transition for certain students, because I know I'm a very busy person, so I always have something to do on campus. And I know, like me, of course, still being president of housing, I still talk to some of my resident assistants, and they were just explaining to me how like they just feel as if trying to complete their work is a drain, because some students are so used to being active, like they need to be in a classroom. So doing online work is just not working for them. And then of course, like y'all said, home situations. Some people actually made ASU their home. And I know I'm one of those persons. Well, I don't have a bad home life, but I know like me being at school, that was my second home. So when I found out we wasn't going back to campus, I was a little heated, but I'm adjusting slightly. But I hope we can go back to campus in the fall, please. Okay. I cannot hear y'all.
We was on mute.
We was on mute.
We was on mute.
I was about to say, I can't hear none of y'all. But yeah, that's just my take on it. But I feel as if it's not that bad and it's an adjustment, but I will not recommend this to keep happening. I feel as if we need to go back on campus. So I really hope we can. That's all I have. I introduced myself, but most of y'all know me. But for everybody who's watching, my name is Erica Boykin. I'm a 20-year-old sophomore forensic science major at the Unsinkable Albany State.
Shirt on.
Had to, okay? Had to. I gotta go now.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, mommy, you on mute.
Mr. King.
Mr. Albert.
We're gonna take one or two more, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Mr. Albert King.
What up?
Welcome, Mr. King. Can you hear me?
Hey, bro, where you get that shirt from?
It says right.
Albert,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, COVID-19 pandemic and its effect on the mental health of students. Do you have any input or contributions towards that topic?
So I actually wanted to go back to your question for Mr. Green when we were asking about Kemp's decision. So speaking from, so we all know that Governor Kemp, he's doing these, like how he said he's going to open up the barbershops, the salons, the nail shops, all that stuff. When in all actuality, who do you see the majority going to these businesses? He's targeting predominantly Black African American communities, so that they can go this for a test route, because you don't see, if it wasn't something he's urgent to open up the state so that the small businesses in the state of Georgia cannot file for cannot file for unemployment. So he's trying to alleviate from paying out of his budget for that, as well as if he was really concerned about the safety of Georgians, I guess that's the word, he would have kept the beaches closed. He would have been able, he would have kept, if he would have opened up these small businesses, he would open up the country clubs, the golf clubs, the tennis courts, all that stuff as well. But now that this is a test drive to see how it's going to affect, because the same thing happened around the 1918 with the Spanish flu was going around. People were self-quarantined and all that. They got tired. It was like the same thing going into effect. People got tired of sitting in the house and being away from work and all this stuff. So they went out in the streets and partied. that second wave of that disease killed way more people than the first wave, which is the same thing that the CDC is warning President Trump about. So and that's another thing that I feel like it shouldn't have been up to the governors to set aside when they're going to open up their state, because a lot of them don't have the best interest in mind.
Gotcha. Any thoughts or follow-ups on that?
I would just say, I know for like mentioning opening back up too soon, I agree, but also on the other side, I could see how, you know, our small businesses are really being impacted right now. And it even says that 99% of businesses are small businesses, and that 3.28 million people filed for unemployment last week. And I'm sure that number's doubled by now. So I understand what you're saying, but what about the small businesses? How should they be responding to this? Especially because small businesses run our economy, and small business owners, myself included. So what would be the cure for the small businesses who are being impacted greatly? Like, how do you feel about that, as far as camp opening back up to support the businesses?
I would say, speaking from a business standpoint, it will help the businesses for a little while, right? So he opens up the state, and everyone, they flock out to these small businesses. They get a little bit of revenue back up so that they can function. The second wave comes in, and more people are dying off, more people are being affected, taking away that business again. So their revenue is dropping back down. So when I said it's affecting them either way, because if he was to keep the state closed, he would be forced to keep those small businesses, paying them for unemployment. That's why he's opening it back up, so that he can avoid that. So the small businesses, yes, they are going to be impacted severely, but it's going to impact them even more, because now this small wave that's going around now, it can just wait for people to heal, overcome this virus, and everything back to normal, so that their businesses can be generate the revenue as normal, versus taking away a large amount of their clientele permanently from them dying off.
You know, to add to that, to actually saying, you know, we look at, and this is actually tying into what I was saying earlier about the Black community has a very strong purchasing power. And you notice all the places that are being opened up, who you think about who's actually doing the spending at these places, who's doing a lot of spending at these places. And so it ties into even more where they're opening these businesses that we know have a lot of Black people coming into. So it's kind of like a test drive, like we've been saying. It's a test drive to see how it's going to impact us. But it's also, just like you said, to keep them from filing for unemployment. And you can see how it's somewhat of a cycle. And I believe that, you know, in the Black community and in the Hispanic community, because I'm Afro-Latino, and so, you know, we do things in a very similar fashion. We have to see this for what it is, because instead of our businesses being open, we need to see them opening other businesses. Why? You know, we need to get our hair done and we need to get our nails done. What about the other places that you shut down that we know that we're not the main ones spending money at? So, you know, all I can say is for us to just keep our eyes open and not make foolish and rash decisions.
And also think of the people that you put in danger like that, because of the elderly and those who are sick. Their immune system is not that strong. Also, younger children. Think about the people that are in your house. If you plan on going out and going to do this, check on the people that's actually in your house first. If they are sickly, or they are the elderly, or their immune system is low, or they are a child, the child are the main ones who can catch it and bring it around a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
But if you continuously going out and you going to do this, and you're not thinking of the person that's in your household or that you're going to be around, then what difference does it make? It seems like you're not caring. But make sure you think of others first before you go out and do something. That's what I say.
Gotcha. All right, so we're over our time a little bit, and I want to thank the podcast team. I want to thank the Ramley viewers and all the other viewers who have tuned in to watch our very first podcast. John, thank you for coming in. So we're going to continue this conversation. We're going to end the show. So if we have some Ramley members or some other guests that still want to join in the conversation, we're going to continue it for a little while longer. But I just want to say thank you to everybody who took time out of their day to join us for our first podcast. There will be more to come in the future. We actually can follow the Albany State NPHC page at ASU_NPHC 1903, and also follow Albany ST_CIO for our CIO organizations. So with that, we'll go ahead and we'll end this first episode of the ASU Greek Life Podcast, and we hope to see you in the future. Thank you, and everyone have a great day.
Yes, be blessed.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys for showing up.
Mr. Green, let me know.